So we're here with Sky Sports' Adam Smith at Wembley Arena. George Groves announced to come back against Christopher Abyss. What do you make of the comeback from George?
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting fight to come back with. I've always liked George Groves as a fighter, as a personality. I think he played a huge role in obviously the storybook of the 9 months of Froch Groves 1 and Froch Groves 2. It was a fantastic event, especially the second one that captured the imagination of the casual fans. That was terrific. Obviously it didn't work out for George in the end. Credit to Carl Froch, what a terrific right hand. But also credit George Groves for dusting himself down quickly, getting back into the gym. He's got a dream. He believes he'll become a world champion. I believe he'll become a world champion again. And I think this is a very interesting test. First up, the European champion, an eliminator for the WBC title, and should he win this, he's going to get another crack, I believe in George, so I think he can do it. But obviously, it's a tough one to come back against. A solid, hard European champion. So it will tell us a lot in September. I think what I'm really pleased about is the speed of which George is coming back. He's not taking a long time out to think about it. He's coming back in September. He's dusted himself down, and that's a good sign.
And I've spoken to Callow and I've spoken to Paddy, and they said he was back in the gym 6 days afterwards. Is that the usual thing from your experience?
He was very disappointed, obviously, in the hours afterwards. But he texted me the next day, and it was a big long text about how he was going to come back, and this wasn't the end. This was just a little blip on the journey. And you know what? Respect to George for that. Yeah. Should he have taken more time out? Well, time will tell. Should he have had an easier opponent to come back against? Time will tell. We'll see what we need to on September the 20th. But George is his own man. He's always done things his way, for that, it's respect and credit. He is coming back off 2 stoppage defeats, so he's got a lot to prove still. Whether he can hack it, at the very top level, whether he's got the stability, the endurance, and all of that. Questions to be answered in the future. Has he got the skills? Has he got the charisma? Absolutely. Will he become world champion? In my opinion, he will. But obviously, we have to see how he goes in September and beyond. It is a big rebuilding process, but it's something I believe he can do.
Definitely. And in terms of, you mentioned a bit about Christopher and the high calibre of opponent he is. Like you said, it's an eliminator for the WBC title, which Sakio Bika currently holds, but he's fighting Darrell in August. Do you think George will be able to beat either of those two?
Well, we should have a good look at Bika and Darrell, because I believe it's on the Kell Brook bill in August. So, Sakio Bika's an old warrior, isn't he? Fantastically tough and hard. George has got certainly the skills to give him trouble. And if the timing is right for that fight, that'll be interesting. See how he deals with Darrell. I think it's a rematch, isn't it? So let's see how we go with that. But if Bika's still the champion, I think that's the sort of fight that George should be looking at. Maybe in 2 or 3 fights' time. I'm sure he'll want it quicker. He's desperate to get hold of that world title. But, he needs a good rebuilding fight, if not 2, before I would lob him in for a world title. But as I said to you at the beginning, I think he will become a world champion. I think he's got that grit, that determination, and the character to prevail. Obviously, Carl Froch, maybe it was a bit too soon. It wasn't his night. Wasn't his night twice. He said, well, bad luck on both occasions. Well, he was beaten on both occasions, and he's got to accept that. But now it's a real question of his temperament. My colleague Johnny Nelson fell twice in world title bids in different ways, one at home, one abroad, and he went and dusted himself down, went off around the world, took all sorts of different fights, won some, lost some, came back a different person, won the world title, and reigned for 7.5 years. That's boxing, isn't it?
It's learning from your losses.
It is learning. It is learning from it. George, just the one thing, he doesn't want to run too quickly. He doesn't just want to dive into another world title fight. And if he loses, then it's going to be harder. A little bit of rein pulling here. And with George, I know that's difficult. But I think this is the right sort of fight for him in September. As I said, I'm very, very pleased about the speed of it. I think that shows us all we need to know about George Groves' character.
Oh, that's great. Thank you so much,
Pleasure.
Adam.